Hello, everyone. I know that lots of people watch I get posted out here on YouTube does not ever make it there. I don't know why they're choosing not to let this happen, but nonetheless, it happens. It's okay. The main thing is all these things are my opinions. They're not the opinions of anything else. And I'm not trying to start a riot. I'm not trying to cause problems. Say my connection is unstable. Please wait while we reconnect you. But I've gotten this lots anyway. And I found that if I stop, it doesn't. This is the way I see things. Some people may call me a dummy, a stupid, whatever. That's fine. Now, over the next insightful things, you see, I read all these papers that people put out about this and that, all the way from social gatherings and things happening, political things happening around the world. All these things, some people calling disturbing and upsetting. And I'm covering a wide range of topics. Now, some people have called me a genius, far beyond me. I don't know why they say that. Because to me, a genius is somebody else. Schizophrenic. I've had my breakdowns, but I'm in full mental wellness now. No breakdowns of any kind. So I'm speaking with a clarity of mind. Things that I know that's going to happen. You might not recognize it right now, but a few years from now, could be 100, could be 1,000 years from now, just like that, all the great people like Nostradamus that has I'm not mathematically inclined, nor physics inclined like you might be able to think to where I can write it down. But doesn't mean that I don't grasp the concept or the true passion of all these subjects. But I do, and I kind of sit back and I formulate conclusions from all that I see happening. Yeah. For a while there, I had lost part of my memories, and I've gotten them back. But since I've gotten them back, I've read a lot of interesting papers. And like I said, they cover everything from the day to day social interactions all the way up to physics and the character of things. And that's what I'm going to talk to you today about. One of the physics problems that I've been looking at. And there's a pattern that I've noticed happening in all the equations. And that's ever since somebody said from an apple dropping, oh, that is gravity. But what is gravity? Lots of people has come up with their theories about it. But sometimes when you're looking too close to something, you can't see the true outcome. Sometimes you got to take a step back to see what really is happening. And that's what I've come to the conclusion. But before I do that, do you like to listen to music? Does music move you? Does the sound of somebody's voice cause you to be angry or happy? There's some people that are born without hearing, but yet they still feel the little vibrations and they know can tell what's going on to the point where they can dance, they can act, they can do lots of other things. The ear should be a clue to what I'm about to tell you. I started off talking to you about gravity on this physics thing, but to recognize that there is no light in this world without this. There is no gravity. There is no rotation of the earth. There is nothing that we know and we can recognize without this one unifying sound. Sound can vacuum of space. That's true. But gravity doesn't happen in the vacuum of space either. Even though the vacuum of space can draw gravity into it, it cannot go through it. Gravity is there. But the gravity that you see out there cannot be without the vibrations of everything. And the vibration is just that sound. No matter how minute it is or how large it is, just because we can't see it, just because we can't recognize it, doesn't mean that it isn't there. The sun itself, if we took and put a microphone to it and kept it at the amplitude that it creates from the moment it happens, brings it here to Earth, everybody's ears would be shattered. But more than that, without this sound and this vibration that's happening there, is sound that happens. You take a vacuum of space and you put a sheet metal on one side and a microphone on the other side. And you put a few grains of sand on there and you turn that speaker and microphone up to the highest level and you speak into it. And you watch what happens. See if those grains of sand don't move. You may have to the high speed camera to capture it, but they will move. It is my theory that they will move. Might be minutely, but they will. And you do this over billions of years, and you watch that grain of sand move at a large distance, even though it's in a vacuum of space. But it's in sound has to have a medium to conduct through. True, but the medium becomes that piece of metal that you put in there. Even though sound can't travel through the vacuum, it can travel through the metal. No matter where it's at, sound reaches that metal and creates the vibration that makes the sand move. Thus, throughout our known universe that we're looking at, there's dust particles throughout all of this. And they're creating a vibration, creating a sound. They are happening because of all this other thing. They say, well, what about the Big Bang Theory? Just think about the words you just said, the Big Bang Theory. For all the theologians out there, and they say, well, God spoke, speaking, words, sound. That is the clue. That's why you can't find a unifying field theory because you're not looking at the very basics of all the elements there. Sound. You got this periodical chart that lists all the elements there are, but you remove the most vital one there is. Those elements would not be the ions, neutrons, and all these other fantastic things going on without sound. James Webb Telescope reaching farthest into time, and we could see uh, quasar happening. We can see all these stars exploding, all these things happening, and it's all because of sound. Gravity is there because the vibration of the dust creating the constant pull and the things. The earth rotation around the sun because of those vibrations. Those vibrations are forms of sound. The sun would not give off a piece of light, and light could not travel us without sound cre- creating the explosion that happens within the sun to put off that light. It is sound that is the grand unified theory that makes everything else flow. With sound, everything else happens. Without sound, nothing happens. Period. Stick that in your hat. Anything in a vacuum happens without that piece of metal. You can put the sound in there, you won't hear it. You can see it. You can see it. That piece of metal hears it. You may not. That piece of metal will vibrate. Eventually, that piece of metal will create dust in that vacuum. That vacuum will go to a certain part, and there'll be dust particles causing that sound to travel even faster and faster and faster. And once it gets there, it's going to be like the Doppler effect. It's going to hear it coming, and once it gets there, we won't hear it after that. It won't hear it after that, but it will keep coming over and over and over till that sand starts moving. Sound is a grand unifying product thing that happens that makes gravity and everything else work. Without sound, and sound is the strongest, most unifying thing there is out there. Without that, everything else is lost. And that's where I'm going to leave it at that. You know, all these physicists and all like that gonna say, no, 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 no. Well, let me ask you something. You ever split an atom and it not have a sound? You ever set off a nuclear weapon without it having sound? Ever put a rocket into space without sound? Everything that we work upon is based upon sound. There is nothing, even the music or the sound of a voice, that could calm you or anger you. Sound. Think about it. And that's just my opinion. That's my theory. I don't want to write it up. I'm going to let y'all do the work on that. But I've already looked at all the calculus, trigs, and all like this, and I've gone into the little other nuances of physics and everything, and I cannot dispute it one way at all. Now, you may want to argue with me. Some lame like me coming up with that idea is ludicrous. But is that what you thought about Newton or Nobel? Just think about it. This old man coming to you, David, letting you know that's the way it is. I know somebody's going to see this and say, he's crazy. Yeah, I am. Aren't we all? Bye bye bye.